The PS Transport, our PS Transport, Honorable Mohammed Daga, the chair of the Kenya Railways Board, and the directors of the board, the managing director of Kenya Railways, the staff of Kenya Railways, the chair of the Kenya Ports Authority, and other distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning once more. The good thing of speaking last is that most of the issues have been said, so mine is just to make a small emphasis. First of all, is just to say thank you very much, all of you, for honoring this invitation by Kenya Railways, and as a ministry, we're extremely appreciative of your presence in this very important occasion to launch this strategic plan that will run, actually should have been running already from last year to 2027. And thank you very much for all the support you gave us. The stakeholders who are here are extremely important people. First, let me start by thanking the PS for providing leadership in his department. PS Mohammed Daga is a very hard-working public servant, a good friend, and a very good supporter of what we do together in the ministry. And as I've said before, I'm extremely lucky to have the PS working with me. And apart from PS Daga being my PS in our ministry, and a team leader and a team player, he is also kijana wa nyumbani hapa. So when he's here, he's at home. And I am very happy because of his passion when it comes to matters of the port and the railway and all transport across. I want to thank the staff of Kenya Railway, led by the MD who is here, because as I have said before, all plans you may have beautiful, they may be presented in a very colorful manner, but it requires human beings to be able to implement it. This strategic plan is as good as the people who are on the ground implementing. It's been my dream, MD, to meet as many staff as possible, and I hope in the next 2-3 months I will have been able to visit as many of them in different parts of the country where they serve as much as possible, because without the staff of Kenya Railway, we will not be here. And therefore, I think I'm being warned that I should declare the document launch. So I want to congratulate the staff, and I want to thank the MD for your leadership and your so that they can work hard, whether we see them or we don't see them. And last Sunday, I was in a church, and the preacher preached on the parable of the talent. So now that Mohammed and others have said the other things, I can tell you this. And he said that, you know, there was this guy who had gone for a trip to go and be made a king. And so he left 1 talent to 10 of his staff. So everyone was given 1. And so as he went, he was going to be made a king in the country where he went to, and he was going to come back anyway. So one of the staff multiplied his to 10, another one multiplied to 5, another one multiplied to 2, and another one kept their 1. Now, what the guy did not tell them is what was going to be, if there was going to be any reward. He just told them, work on this talent, see what you can do with it. Goodbye, I have gone to be made a king, I will be back. So of course he went and came back. And as he came back as a king. For those who are Christians will know the parallelism of the story and who will come back as a king. But that the parable itself literally as applied, when he arrived he said, okay, you of 10, who multiply to 10, you can rule over 10 cities. So you can be a governor. This other one who multiplied to 5, I can appoint you. You will be I'm likely to make you to become an MP or something like that. Let's say, you know, for purpose of KPA, with KRC, we can say the one who got 10 was told, okay, we can be promoted, you can be MD. The one who made 5, okay, we can make you a general manager. And the one who got 2, okay, we can make you manager estates. Then there is one who said, you know, this is a mean guy. He just wants to sow where he did not reap. How can somebody just go for a trip and expect us to multiply this thing? Let me just keep this thing in a locker. When he arrives, I'll give him back. So he returned the one. And he was told even the one he had would be removed and given to one who had multiplied. That is the truth. There are staff within KRC who are multiplying their talents. They're making it 10, some are making 15, others are making 20. The others who are, you know, they're a bit sluggish, but they're making it 2. But there are those who are sitting somewhere and saying, wacha tuone huyu MD. Si anasema yeye ni kusema, wacha tuone kama atasongesha hii mzigo, kama ataweza kusongesha hii mzigo. Si waziri alienda kusema kwa TV huko ati wao atabadilisha railway, wacha tuone. Wacha tuweke tu tufiche hapa tuone kama atasonga wapi. And that's why we have leaking roofs elsewhere, you have potholes, because there is a very mean servant who has been left with a talent, and he's saying, wacha tuone hii waziri. Ataanikwa tena. You know, and I can tell you for sure, I hope we can put in place the mechanism under this strategic plan for those who are working on their talent to 10 to be promoted to be the next MDs of Kenya Railways. And for those, you know, and for those of the staff who are going to hide their talent to be definitely robbed of what they have, which means to be fired, and somebody else to be hired to do the job who can multiply the work. There must be a stick and carrot to make sure that an organization is operating at the optimum. And so human resource is extremely important. And I am very interested in what the board is going to do and what the management is going to do to reward those who work very hard to make sure that they make a difference under this strategic plan. I want to thank the board. Our board is significantly young and new. They just came to the institution. I have had a short meeting with them before I came here. We are going to have another meeting next week. I have a lot of faith in the board. They are young, energetic. The chairman is experienced, and I believe that they are passionate. I know them. They are passionate to be able to deliver. And I've told them, your stint is short, and sometimes this is unknown. In one of the boards, when I became so rough with the board members always told themselves, you know, our board membership here is up to Thursday. Friday, you wait for the Gazette notice. If there is, you know your name, you start again to serve for another 1 week. But that is, I'm not such a mean cabinet secretary. But the point is this. I have told the board that I have faith in them, and I believe that they will help us steer this strategic plan for a better future for the Kenya Railways Corporation. And for the work they have done for the short period of time, please clap for them because they are here. They have quite, you know, diverse experiences professionally and also in terms of experience in the work they do. I want to thank the transporters, without whom we could not be here. And I thank you very much for having faith in the SGR. When the president came to office, he announced freedom of transport, and we are not going to reverse that. I know sometimes we've sat down with the board and the MD and the PS, and we're asking ourselves, can we force these people a little bit more to use the SGR so that we get the numbers? And we have agreed that competition is good for business. KRC will do better if they are competing with air and they are competing also with road. And therefore, we are not going to disturb the status quo. What we will do, we will make sure that there is a seamless facilitation of the SGR and the MGR, the railways, at the port by KPA to make sure that they are competitive as much as the road is competitive. Are we together? The good news is that I'm the minister of the road and I'm the minister of the railway. So I will not favor any side. It's important that all of us are in one ministry. And therefore, you will not expect us to favor any part of the transport. What we will do is to make sure that the railway is given the necessary facilitation. And the transporters who will meet the statutory established volumes to be given concessional rates, we will give you without further ado.
we just need to do is to make sure that you achieve the threshold that we have put there to say we are going to mobilize such number of cargo for us. You write the application to the board. I have asked the board to come and consult me. We look at the volumes. If you reach the required volumes, we will approve you without favoritism to any person, and we will not try to side with any business entity. Competition will be the establishing fact. And if we give you a rate and your numbers drop, we will also return you to where you belong when it comes to the numbers. So thank you very much, transporters. And please continue believing in Kenya Railways and the SGR and the MGR. Pigia transporters makofi. Aya, sasa nje nisome yenyewe nimeandikiwa. The railway transport has gained increasing significance as an enabler of Kenya's national development agenda. This is more so as a country implements the 5 key priority areas identified in the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, and by extension, the 4th medium-term plan for our long development blueprint, Vision 2030. I'm therefore pleased to join you today as we roll out this elaborate Kenya Railways Strategic Plan 2023-2027, which will guide the implementation of the key priority interventions in the rail transport subsector over the next 5 years. This is an important milestone, not only for Kenya Railways, but also for the ministry, the country, and the region at large. I believe that this plan not only creates a call to action, but also manages expectations and bolsters trust within the organization and its stakeholders, as I have already emphasized. I am glad to know that the plan sets ambitious objectives for Kenya Railways, including developing and upgrading railway infrastructure, increasing freight and passenger transport, as you've seen, 42% by year 2027, expanding the Port of Mombasa market share, which is a joint collaboration with the Kenya Ports Authority, building a skilled workforce, and institutionalizing environmental, social, and governance structures. If followed through and implemented to the latter, the objectives set in this plan will enhance operational efficiency, contribute to national economic growth, and ensure sustainable development, transforming Kenya Railways into a more reliable and impactful transport service provider. As a government, we would like to see a railway transport play a greater role in Kenya's socio-economic development, and I'm happy that in this plan, Kenya Railways aims to significantly expand its network, modernize its infrastructure, and adopt innovative technologies by the year 2027. This will enhance Madaraka Express, Nairobi commuter rail, and meter gauge railway passenger and freight services in the Republic of Kenya. The plan also outlines comprehensive efforts to extend the railway network, particularly the standard gauge railway, from Naivasha to Malaba on the border with Uganda, enhancing wider access and boosting regional trade. This is in line with our commitment to fulfill the dreams of our forefathers to have the Indian Ocean coast and the Latin coast linked. And I was speaking to Vincent, who is from DRC, that one of the greatest missions I'd like to undertake in the very near future is, apart from visiting Uganda, to visit DRC, so that we can work together to make sure that we achieve this great vision of linking Indian Ocean with the Atlantic Ocean through DRC to Douala, all the way to the Atlantic Ocean. I believe that Africa can be better connected if we are going to make sure that we build the necessary infrastructure that will enable our people to connect as people, but also to grow their business and to be able to move goods from one direction to another. I am very happy with the story I heard of what's happening in DRC again today, having that conversation together. They're building a road of 750 kilometers that is going to make it possible to move goods faster from Mombasa to Kisiangani. And it's our hope, as you must have seen in the news, that one of the developers that is going to build also the road from here to Nairobi is going to add to the better infrastructure for us to make sure that we are going to reach the other destination. Therefore, we strongly believe that the rail transport
is going to go all the way to the Atlantic Ocean. You will remember that earlier this month we hosted a joint ministerial committee on SGR here in Mombasa, whose members are Rwanda, Burundi, and the Democratic Republic of Congo and South Sudan. Our agenda as a cluster is to jointly find ways of means of extending SGR beyond Naivasha and Kenya to facilitate regional trade. Maybe I should just emphasize here that many people are asking the question, why are we pushing for this SGR to move from here to Malaba and eventually to Sororo, yeah, to, it's called what, I'm forgetting the border, Uganda and DRC. Kasese, yes, that's what I meant. Kasese, and then move it all the way to Kisiangani. Then we use the River Congo to take the goods straight to Kinshasa. Why are we doing this? As a country and as Kenya, when we speak about expanding infrastructure, we cannot just think about ourselves internally here. We must look at the competition we face every day. We face competition, and competition is good. You know, for the competitiveness of the Northern Corridor, we must complete the SGR from Naivasha to Malaba. The question we should be asking ourselves as a country and as a region is, what is the best model we can adopt to make sure that the SGR reaches Malaba with the burden lessened on the people of Kenya in terms of debt. But we cannot operate as a nation in a continent that is competitive and a world that is competitive, and some people to lecture us that we cannot do anything about SGR because we will suffer more, we will do this. Yet, when we look at the books, and we have looked at it with the railway, we have looked at it with the PS, it is possible to have a combined effort of Kenya Railway with the Railway Development Levy, whose objective was to develop the rail infrastructure, put it there together, and then combine it with the private sector by making sure that we establish business hubs along the corridor that makes it sure that the corridor of the SGR will be competitive business-wise, and ask those private sector players to input into the construction of the SGR with a possibility of recouping their benefits in a certain period of time. You can see, if we move this SGR all the way to Kisiangani, you will see that you will increase this volume. In fact, the vision of achieving the 42% in another, by 2030, we will be talking about 80%. Because who will not want to use SGR, which is connected all the way to the last customer on the other end? So as a country, we request, and I'm going to meet our Transport Committee of Parliament, and I have spoken to as many stakeholders as possible. Let us become as bold as our forefathers to make sure that we build infrastructure that will last another 100, 200 years and make Kenya a competitive country and make Northern Corridor a competitive corridor when it comes to the establishment and growth in this area. So I will be consistently the champion and ambassador in the whole of government to make sure that SGR is extended. Even when I become in the minority, I have the privilege of being young. So God giving us longer life. I know some of you think I'm very old. It's just that I lost some hair while in politics. But because of that, I really believe that this generation will not be forgiven in the future if we lose our competitiveness in the Northern Corridor just because we were theorizing of how it is not possible. Like Robert Kennedy said, if some people are asking why, it is for us in this ministry and in the Kenya Railway to ask why not. If other parts of the world are able to connect their countries and make it easier to move from one part of Europe to the other, to make it possible to work one part of US to the other, why is it not possible for us to move from one part of Africa to another, to move goods and people? It's a shame. It's a total shame that for you to go to West Africa, you have to fly to Europe, then you come back to West Africa. That is an embarrassment. And if in my generation I have the benefit of serving in such a ministry, we will do everything humanly possible to make sure that Africa is interconnected
and Africa can do business, and Africa can be competitive. Africa will no longer depend on aid, it can depend on business and investment, and we have the capacity to attract the investors that can come invest in SGR. If I have not said anything, that is all I have said today. So the 2023-2027 strategic plan is not merely about infrastructure and technology. It's about people. Thus, I'm happy to know that the modernization projects will include upgrading existing lines and stations for safety and reliability of the rail transport in Kenya. Like never before, we are fully dedicated to creating a railway system that serves the needs of our citizens, drives economic growth, and preserves our environment. We believe that through innovation, sustainability, and collaboration, we can build a railway network that will be a source of pride for generations to come. As a ministry, we are committed to actively supporting the Engaging Kenya Railway Corporation, implementing the 2023-2027 strategic plan. Together, I believe we will build a vibrant railway network for the benefit of the people of Kenya and the region. The benefits of a robust railway system cannot be gainsaid. Since the launch of the standard gauge railway and the continued rehabilitation of meter gauge railway, Kenya has witnessed a tremendous increase in the volume of cargo moved by rail by 5% in 2018 to 26% in 2023 of total port throughput. This has not only been a game changer in the transport industry, but also in the entire economy, as rail is a key enabler of growth in other sectors. Railway transport has also been instrumental in facilitating regional economic integration through its widespread network that traverses our borders. Ladies and gentlemen, let me reiterate that the blueprint we are launching today ties Kenya Railways' mandate with our development aspirations as a country. You therefore have a huge responsibility on your shoulders, and you must brace yourself for the hard work ahead. This document is also a critical communication tool for the internal and external stakeholders, as it will empower staff, partners, and the public with adequate information with which they can hold the corporation to account. As we go forward, I urge you to strengthen linkages and collaboration with our partners and stakeholders that we have built over the years. At the same time, we must strive to establish new partnerships and collaborations, especially in key emerging areas relevant to our mandate, such as cool logistics corridor and rolling stock maintenance center. As the MD was speaking here about the new wagons for transport, I want to assure you that in the same period, in the next 1 month, we shall have the refrigerated wagons also being delivered. That will make us competitive as a country and as a transport and logistics company, to make sure that we carry perishable goods from one end to the other. And we will start with about, I think, how many wagons on the same? 20, yes, 20 wagons, and we'll keep increasing. As you very well know, we as a country, we have branded ourselves as the center of climate response in terms of mitigating climate change. And part of that is to make sure that as much goods as possible are transported in mass transit system, and that includes the railway. So cool logistics is part of our plan. We are also working with the government of Netherlands to make sure that we establish cool logistics centers along this corridor, and to make sure that we increase these wagons in the near future. And we are going to work with the business community. And again, this is an area of investment for the business people who are here, to make sure that as many of our goods that are now flown and carried by air are able to be part and parcel of this transport mechanism of the railway, and eventually using the ship to its destination. That will make us more competitive, especially because the business preferences in the Europe and other parts of the world are preferring goods that have a label indicating that it has less carbon prints. And that is an area that we must be able to invest in and keep ourselves competitive. My appeal to all of you is to walk with us through this 5-year journey and beyond, as we all serve this great nation. Once again, congratulations. Maybe one thing I did not just recognize is that the chair of the RTI, the Railway Training Institute, is here. Apart from the, thank you very much, apart from, thank you, Prof. Apart from the focus we have on making sure that we have a clearer transport system for cargo, for freight, for freight and for commuter. Two things I want to say about that before I come to the training. One is that apart from commuter transport from here to Nairobi, we are also improving our commuter rail network in the Nairobi city. We have a major program that is coming up. I'm going to be presenting a CAB memo in the cabinet. We are working out and finishing something with the Attorney General. We are going to revamp the railway network in Nairobi so that instead of carrying 20,000 people as it does per day now, Nairobi has millions of people. We want to move it to 100,000 per day so that then railway becomes a mode of choice in terms of transport in the city. In fact, in terms of reduction of carbon emissions, the use of mass transport systems, which includes the railway, is going to be critical. And the place of intervention, even as we work on the bus rapid transit system in the city of Nairobi, the easiest place of intervention is to make sure that the railway network that has already access, we don't need another land, it has already established stations, we just need to improve them. It has a network, that's why we can improve it. We need to increase the wagons, the coaches. So the point is this, in the next also period, this particular period, we should be able, I know it may not have been factored because the resources were not already cleared, but now working with the World Bank and under that World Bank project for urban support, we are going to make sure that we multiply by 5 times the people who are going to use the railway system in the city of Nairobi, and therefore save the people who are walking on the road without, and they are not walking because they're walking by force because they cannot afford transport system as it is at the moment. And then on the training, we want to become, I had a meeting recently with the China government representative that come from the railway, what do we call it, Huda? Yes, National Railway Administration. We had a meeting only 2 weeks ago. And one of the things we agreed, they are working on capacity building. There's an MOU signed with the KRC and the University of Nairobi. They are working on capacity building at the University of Nairobi and the RTI. And we have said RTI becomes the institution of choice for partnership, for training, not just in Kenya, for the entire region, so that governments and countries that are implementing SGR, whether it is Africa, South Sudan, whether it is Uganda, whether it is Rwanda, even Tanzania, Burundi, up to DRC, and other countries across the region can find RTI, as a railway training institute, which has ability to build the capacity of railway managers, railway operators, the engineers, the technical staff that we need. And that's why I want also the board and the RTI board to now have a bigger vision of where this institution is. And we must not fall into the temptation to move such very technical, useful institutions to become universities. No, they must remain a technical institution with technical knowledge on railway issues, and then carve that niche and work with the other partners in the region to make sure that the institution becomes what it ought to be. And that is our vision, and the Madam Director is there, and the Chair is here. And by the way, you are doing a very good job. When I came to Kisumu, I was very happy. So we should continue from there as we progress. Congratulations, Kenya Railways, on this successful launch, and best wishes as you continue with the implementation phase. And without much ado, and having said all this, it's now my honor and pleasure to declare the Kenya Railways 2023-2027 strategic plan officially launched. Asante sana.